ASMR edition with Kalysta. Bloopers. Bloopers. Bloopers.
When I never felt that, come on, yeah.
Hi! Welcome to the Teacher's Wake Up Call, special edition, yes, with our next Student Council President. Okay, I'm gonna massacre your family name like I always do, Kalysta. I'll just say Kalysta. Kalysta, and that way her anonymity is protected, but Kalysta I know how to pronounce. Hi, and thank you for coming. And
Thank you for having me.
Disclaimer, parental consent was obtained. So no one come at me saying, there's a student in here. Like, I always get parental consent to make sure, So yeah. So the parents are aware that she is in my video. It's the hottest day so far of the school year, and we're melting, we're schwitzing. I don't know how it is in your classes, but
hot.
Yeah.
Hot.
Yeah. And how some students are walking around with hoodies makes absolutely no sense to me.
I do not get it.
Yeah. Are you excited for next year for Sec 5?
I am so excited for Sec 5.
Yes. Why did you want to run for Student Council President? I know it's not one of the questions I planned, but I want to understand why you went for it.
So part of the reason I want to do it, it's been a thing that I wanted to do since I was a kid, because my dad runs a student council at his school, so it's always something that I've wanted to do and been a part of. So yeah, I kind of want to make that come true, and also just do things for our school. That's fun.
What are the plans that you have for our school? I know you have a lot of plans.
I'm allowed to dox all of them on the internet right now.
No, I mean, look, if there's one thing that you would like to see happen next year as student council president, what would you like to see happen?
I really want the lockers painted.
Yes.
The lockers upstairs. I have a whole plan, whole Google Docs laid out of everything I want to do.
Nice.
Yeah.
Always ask the administration if there's what we call here in Quebec, mesure. There's always envelopes of money given by the ministry for special projects, and yeah, just there's gotta be some school improvement monies stashed away, and they usually get them I think in October. I could be wrong, but I know that there's always monies available.
Yeah, for sure.
Because painting lockers is not cheap.
That is true. I did speak to one of the VPs already.
Oh, good. Oh, lovely. Yeah. Lovely.
And I did speak to the old principal of the school that was here before us.
Really?
Yeah, to find out what to do, how to paint the lockers, and what the students did at that time.
Oh, okay. Okay, you're gonna have to tell me later who that principal was, but clever, very clever. Oh, you have connections! What is this? Going and hobnobbing with all the old principals? Yes, yeah. I'm familiar with Mr. So-and-so and Mrs. What's-her-face. What is this?
Of course.
The flex. But okay, so obviously you see school in a positive way, and you see all the fun things that we can do in a school.
Yeah.
But from
mostly.
your perspective, what would be the biggest problem right now in school? Is the system focusing on the right thing when it comes to problems? Because obviously the government, the specialists have a vision of we need to fix this.
Yeah.
And so what is your take on it? What is this
I feel a really big problem is student motivation. Now a lot of students lack motivation, not even just for the working class, but just to participate in activities. A lot of students don't do extracurriculars and things like that. I feel that's a problem we need to focus on, of how to resolve that. And it might be due to COVID, because the lack of socialization and maturity, it was definitely stunted during that. But now it's been 4 years, we got to get back up.
And I think there's a big issue, and you can disagree with me or not, maybe you agree with me, that there's a difference between a student wanting to do an extracurricular like football, like hockey, and student engagement in a class. They talk a lot about student engagement, and they look at surveys and they say, oh my God, they're into extracurricular, but they don't feel engaged. Is it because students don't feel connected to what they're learning, or could it be something else like mental health?
No, I think that both of those things are very good points. Mental health, maybe it's just because it's more focused on now, but it's definitely at a low. Adolescents now definitely are struggling with a lot more issues than we've seen in the past. So I feel that's a big thing. And also just the way that things are taught. I feel things have been taught very similarly for as long as schools have been open, and I feel we need to change that to be with the times and the modernization.
Do you find that what is being taught is meaningful to students?
I feel like maybe in particular subjects, but in others, I mean, it really depends on the student and what the student defines meaningful as. Like, I mean, for me, I'm not super passionate about history, even though it's really important to learn. So that's not super meaningful to me. But then other things that things I've learned in science that I notice in my day-to-day life, then that carries more meaning.
Yeah. Look, we can talk about like student engagement for hours, but we're not here for hours. We only have a lunchtime. So what are your thoughts on the government's, because like, okay, context. Our school right now is one of the few schools, I don't want to say we're the only one, but I think we're not exclusive in this. We have a direct cell phone ban in our code of conduct.
We do.
But as of this year, the government made it so that all schools, the cell phone is banned. I want to know what your thoughts on that. Because I've made it very clear in many of my videos about my stance, but like maybe I'm the odd person out.
I mean, I feel like I kind of have an unpopular opinion about it, because I do think in some aspects it's good that we have it, but at the same time I don't think it should be enforced at like lunch and recesses, and it could be an important learning tool, but we also have like access to computers and Chromebooks, which kind of do the same thing. I mean, students definitely find ways around it, which is why like no matter what we do, it's gonna happen.
And like if they're not playing on their phone, they're playing on their computers.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not like they're fixing the problem.
Yeah.
I always said that we need to educate students when it comes to the issues related to cell phones.
Yeah, for sure.
And I know I mention it in my classes, but like I don't know if other teachers mention it. Has it happened in other classes where they've talked about, no, it causes this and that's why you guys become addicted to the phones? Do they talk about it?
There's not really an explanation. I feel like it's just trying to run from the problems of like phones itself. And there's not really an education that's like linked to it. It's just like banning it without explaining the reasons.
Are you addicted to your phone?
I think so. A little bit.
Okay.
There was definitely like posters around the school, but I don't think it's the same as like a general assembly or like teachers actually talking about it, because it's always like about the phones and not really about us, if that makes sense.
Because like they have assemblies on, for instance, drug addiction. Like they have assemblies on drug addiction and all the other types of like mental health issues. But they rarely talk about cell phone addiction and technology addiction. I find it really interesting because if they're going to take care of a problem, I always said like it's not by hiding the alcohol bottles that you're going to cure alcoholism, you know? So in your perspective of student council president for next year, what do you think should be done to fix this problem, but like in a more meaningful way for students?
That's a good question. I mean, I really liked when we had like the pop-up in the lobby of like the toxic relationships. I feel like something like that is fun because students were engaged and like they got stickers, which is really cute.
Okay.
I feel like maybe including it more in an assembly. I mean, I don't think it's possible, but I would like to bring it at like recess and lunch again. I mean, I don't think our administration would agree with me on that, but like in a dream world, that's what I would do.
I think it's not a problem that can, problem. I say a problem, but I think it's an issue. It's a reality that can't be solved in a year, which is why I find it so frustrating when we read articles in the newspaper about how like 5 months in the cell phone ban and nothing has changed. Well, of course nothing has changed. It's not like you can fix a problem, an addiction problem in 5 months. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. I think it's way more complex than that. Obviously, you're not even done grade 10. You still have exams. And next year it's your last year, but I'm sure you're thinking about what's happening beyond high school. So
a little bit.
What are your plans for next year and not next year, but 2 years? Are you scared? Are you excited? What are your feelings?
I mean, I'm a little nervous because like it's something new, obviously, and it's always gonna come with nerves. But I'm also really excited to get out of high school because like it kind of opens you up to the world more.
Yeah.
And
What are your plans like academically? I'm assuming you're going to CJEP.
Yeah, I'm going to CJEP, something that revolves around like family and education in like a branch of social science. So,
nice, nice. Going into education or teaching?
I don't know. But
I'm not
like,
trying to convince her.
We'll see what happens.
She's got a
miss.
mind of, well, your dad is also in education, so it's
Yeah,
not
that's
like
true.
it's
That's
not
true.
like you live in a reality where there's like no one education. I mean, part of my brain was prepared to accept that my daughter was going to go into education, but she didn't, despite the fact that both of her parents are educators. So I don't know. You know, you're allowed to go wherever you want. You know, and do you think that schools are? I don't want to say forcing, because that's not really the word, but are they preparing students for all eventualities post high school? Like, do they talk about trades? Do they only talk about the university path?
I feel like they only really talk about like college, like CJEP and then university. I mean, it's definitely mentioned. Like when the guidance counselor comes around talking about post-secondary options, it's not something that's avoided, but it's not something that they go into depth of either. Like I feel like CJEP is definitely more encouraged
Nice.
than that.
Good, lovely. Well, that's pretty much it, mostly because I have a lunch to eat and I need to find a place, someplace cooler than this room.
Don't you have air conditioning in there?
I do, but like it's not enough because it's a big space.
That's true.
It is a big
Yeah.
space, and I feel like you literally have to be in that corner to really benefit from the cooling feeling of the AC. Although I must admit, the fact that I do have AC is better than most. Apparently, the third floor is comparable to a sauna right now.
Oh, that's so
That's what
fun.
Monsieur Luc is saying. Like it feels like he called it an educational sauna or a scholarly sauna.
You know, what a fun sauna to be a part of. I have math last.
I'm
top
sorry.
floor.
I'm sorry. I don't like saunas. Thank you for tuning in. This was the amazing Kalysta.
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
Remember to like and subscribe and turn on post notifications so you'll always know when Miss Allery posts a new video.
Yeah. I'm hoping to hit 200 by the end of this summer. I aim low.
I believe in you,
I
Miss.
aim low. So like that, I'm not utterly disappointed with the results. All right.